is just magnificent to watch. She has owned Hagley Oval today.
There it is. Back-to-back hundreds. First in the semi-final, now in a World Cup final.
Healy, a magnificent century, as good as it gets. 100 from 100 balls.
Yeah, she was the player of the World Cup final, the player of the tournament. Even bigger, she was our champ of the week last week.
Yes.
Oh, and Alyssa Healy joins us now. Congratulations. Welcome back.
So for the champ of the week?
You don't enjoy watching yourself batting. What's that about?
I don't. I generally don't. Although I found myself rewatching the final while we were away after the World Cup. Just watched the first bit, and yeah, it was interesting. But yeah, I don't normally like watching myself bat. It just doesn't look right.
Is it true that, like, you're coming off the best form of your career, most successful campaign you guys have had? You come home. Is it true that you were gurneying around the house all day today? Is that how you celebrate?
Yep. With all the weather we've had in Sydney, I was on the gurney out the front, getting all the moss off the ground. So, yeah, celebrating in style.
What about you and Mitch been to the pub for a counter meal at least at some stage?
We did.
Yeah.
We did do that. We've been living in and out of bubbles for over 2 years now. Yeah. So to come home and be relatively normal has been a nice change. So the pub was visited. Yes.
Great.
So much cricket I want to get to, but obviously the first question, the most important question I need to ask you is what's Australia's unemployment rate and the Reserve Bank cash rate? You've been described, your team, and you've had a little time now, a week, to reflect on how well you've played, not just in that tournament, but really in the past, 5 years. It's been quite phenomenal. You're described by great judges as the best women's cricket team in the history of the game. That's something.
Yeah, it is something. It doesn't sit well with our group knowing we're continuously striving for this perfection that we may never achieve. But I think what we've been able to achieve over the last 5 years in building up to this World Cup, I guess I speak about it a lot, almost reinventing ourselves and the way we wanted to play the one-day game. I'm just proud of the group for being able to do it and coming out and showing everyone that it's worked. We came out and beat everyone in that World Cup.
How nervous were you going into that final because you'd been so dominant, you'd destroyed all the opposition? I remember speaking to you the day before on radio and you sounded very rare, a bit tight, a bit wound up. How nervous were you knowing we cannot stuff this final up?
Well, I've been quoted a lot as saying you've got to lose at some point, right? And I say that quite a lot, but I felt like it was the practice game where New Zealand chased down 360 that we made one down. I felt like that was our loss and it was kind of the kick up the bum that we needed to switch back on. So, yeah, I was nervous, but I thought we were going to be professional enough to get the job done, and we were.
356 was such a tough total for England to get to. Was there any nerves, any worried moments during that English innings? Because there was a few runs put on in the middle part of that, the chase, wasn't there?
Yeah, I mean, Nat Siver played probably one of the best
innings.
Yeah, one of the best one-day innings that we'll see on a losing side. I mean, to make 148, 149, whatever she made, and lose the game is quite remarkable. Yep. But it was just such a great game of cricket, a great showcase of the women's game in particular at the moment, and I guess where it's got to.
I watch you play and watch the team play, and I was having a flashback to when we were sitting in Junction Oval, I reckon about 9 months before the 2020 World Cup, which was obviously the world record attendance at the MCG. Katy Perry performed and then COVID hit. And I remember you saying about 9 months before that, I think after that I might be done. Yep. Mitch is getting clucky, we might have a kid or something. And I was thinking, watching that recent World Cup win, gee, you've gone on for another 2 years. I mean, was that right at that time? You were perhaps contemplating I might be done after 2020?
Yeah, it was my plan. I was happy to walk away from the game, like, right throughout my career. Right then, I thought that would be just an amazing time to finish playing a World Cup at home, especially if we win the trophy. How cool would that be? And there were times during COVID when I thought, gee, I wish I had retired in that. Like, is it ever going to get any better than that? I mean, 87,000 people at the MCG. But I guess at the end of the day, knowing what we did last week was something incredibly special, and I would have been, a pretty disappointed person walking away from such an amazing group of people to be able to do amazing things with.
So what kept you going during those times where you thought about not?
Batting. I love batting. I've loved, I guess, trying to evolve my game over the last, 5 years. I feel like I sort of matured in my cricket, matured probably in life as well, and I've just really enjoyed being able to push myself and see what I can do. And that's been awesome. And I just said it then. I mean, some of the girls that we're playing with will go down as some of the best cricketers that we'll ever see, male or female. So getting the opportunity to train alongside them, learn from them, play with them, has been really enjoyable.
Alyssa, we've just had a look at the NRLW, the AFLW, played their grand finals over the last couple of weeks. Have you noticed over your 12 years of playing one-day internationals the change, the improvement in women's cricket around the world, and the skill set that they bring now is much better than what it was 10 years ago? Yeah,
it's just, I think it's slightly different. I mean, yes, I could sit here and say it's better, but I don't really know that for a fact. But I can say it's different, and it's purely, I think, from an athleticism point of view. I mean, we're now giving females the opportunity to go out and be full-time athletes. They're not working full-time jobs outside and training, twice a week for 2 hours after dark, sort of running around, then trying to feed themselves after. They're actually being afforded the time to go and train, play properly, and I think we're seeing the benefits of that, especially in cricket. Cricket's been doing it for a long period of time.
Yep.
I mean, at some point I feel for, the AFLW, the NRLW, because they're almost learning on TV in front of everybody how to be professional athletes, and I think they're doing an unbelievable job at breaking down these barriers. And I love seeing organisations get behind their women's teams. Even you just mentioned before about the F1 expanding, their markets and getting more women involved in the organisations, and I guess watching, playing, partaking, I think is really important, and it's been great to see it all develop.
So many great new faces have come into your side over the years, and for this tournament, Alana King, how good is this girl? Not just in terms of her bowling, but under pressure. She's a go-to in this kind of format. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, she's been a great addition to our side, and I mean, you look at, I think we had 3 players sitting at home, Taylor Vlamenik, Sophie Molyneux and Georgia Wareham, who probably would have been there. We had 3 new faces come in and do what Kingy did and come and perform on the biggest stage. And
so good.
She's not shy on confidence, which I think is what you want from a leggy in particular. You want them to come and grab the ball out of the captain's hand and say, I want to bowl. So
how do you go with her in the nets?
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Tough to pick?
Yeah, I don't mind it. She'll say differently.
What's her best ball, do you think?
Well, she's so different to Amanda Wellington, who's also in our side, but she just attacks both edges of the bat. She's coming in at your stumps all the time. So, her most lethal delivery is the one that's going to get you LBW, but then when she bowls that big turning leg break, you're going to get stumped, so it's good fun.
All right, that amazing team that you've been part of, no real sight of them disappearing separately anytime soon. There's Commonwealth Games, there's so much coming up.
Yeah, a lot coming up, big year. Hopefully we'll be together for a while longer and smash some new records.
Brilliant, so good. Congratulations, thanks so much for coming.